Hi, I'm Rick Alson. This is Rick's Blog Live. Thank you for watching. This was a pretty quiet election night on August 18th. All the incumbents went back. Mayor Reeves won 53% of the vote, so that he didn't have to face a runoff yet again. Pretty nice mandate for him this time. The races that we watched, we weren't that surprised at it. The voter turnout was a little bit less than we thought it would be. City vote was a little bit better than the county, but still everything was down. We tried something new this time. We tried to go ahead and do a live show on YouTube and Facebook. We tried it on Instagram, and the technology wasn't quite perfect yet, but we were able to broadcast for an hour Tuesday night and have people come in. We had Jeff DeWeese talk from the Patronus Watch Party, State Representative Alex Andrade from Byron Donald's Watch Party, Commissioner Luman May from David Jolly's party. Then we brought in a bunch of politicos, people that understand politics, former Commissioner Jeff Bergosh, Walker Wilson, Ryan Wiggins. We had the Supervisor of Elections, Robert Bender, give us a report. You can still watch it on YouTube, but it was a nice experiment to try. I think we were the first to give the election results because we were watching them so closely. And what happened this time is what has happened, gosh, every year that I've been following and reporting on elections, is that when that early vote turnout comes in, which is within the first 5 or 10 minutes, the Supervisor of Elections can publish what the results of the early voting and the vote by mail are, and those percentages hold, and they did again this time. So it was a real interesting thing to watch. This also is the week, the cover. We are Best of the Coast. This is the granddaddy of them all. This is the issue that you get to decide who are the winners. We have been doing this since 2000, golly, 26 years now. It is the one where you vote. We count every vote. We have a system. We know when someone's cheated. We take out those votes that aren't valid. No one can pay to be on there. It's not who our advertisers are. It's not somebody paying to stay in some phony competition where the ad department's going to finally decide who the winners are. No, this is done with a spreadsheet, checking each ballot, running it through the system, checking IP addresses, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to work out the list, and then another 6 weeks to come up with this issue. Joni Dellison, our editor and creative director, is really the genius behind this, and it really is the list. So it's the one that you want to hold on to for sure all through the year. That has been, went online at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and it's available wherever you work, shop, and dine in Santa Rosa and Escambia counties. It is the issue. Next week we'll have Rest of the Best, which are those who didn't win their category but were a finalist. And we've seen those people rise over the years to become Best of the Coast winners. It is a labor of love for the community, but it is your poll. It isn't ours. So please check it out at nweekly.net. It is something that's very special for us to do. Now, on this show, we're going to have City Councilman Charles Baer. There are a lot of issues before the City Council: curfew, data centers, what's going on with the TDC. We'll have him on. We'll have Melissa Pino, saving Perdido Beach, keeping it open to the public. She is working on that. We'll have her. We've got Robert Bender giving us his overnight report on the election results, and Cole Stevenson, young leader coming back from college in the community, working on a local campaign. But I wanted you to get to know him too, and know the quality of the people that we have coming back into our community. Pensacola is where people want to live, and they're proud to show it off to their friends. That hasn't always been the case, but it definitely is the case now. It's a worthwhile show. I think you're definitely going to enjoy it and want to stay with us through the whole part of it. Welcome back. I'm Rick Alson. This is Rick's Blog Live. Thank you for watching. Listen, if you want to follow us, you can do it on YouTube, almost all the social media. like, share, be a part of this. The show goes live every Friday for you to catch up on what's going on. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can watch the full show on Blab TV starting on Friday. So please be a part of all of this. This has been fun to do. I've got with me City Councilman Charles Baer. Charles, thank you for coming on.
Hey, Rick, great. It's great to be on here. Thank you.
You know, we've known each other over the years. You've been on the City Council, run for office, several different offices. You now serve District 2 in the City Council. A lot of issues have come up this summer. The one that's been on a lot of people's mind, at least the mayor's mind at the press conference today, is curfews. It was on the agenda. The council had a lot of questions about things they'd like to see changed. And in the end, it was pulled off the agenda to give time to work it out. What were some of the things that concerned you about the
Yeah, you know, when all this first happened on 4th of July, I was in favor of a curfew. It was kind of a knee-jerk on my behalf as well, and so I kind of felt like we needed to do something. So yes, I did. I reached out to the mayor and said I was interested in working on an ordinance, but then I started listening to people, listening to my family, listening to people in the community, and I've not had a single person tell me they want a curfew. And I don't think it's going to solve the issue. I really think, and I said this at our meeting, we need to have a workshop on this, because clearly there were concerns on council about a number of issues, and I think it would have really benefited us to have a council workshop to discuss it.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What's the difference? Because this was the first reading of the ordinance that happened on the 13th, to keep my dates straight in my head. But what would be different if it was what's the difference between doing it in the meeting that y'all were in and doing it in a workshop?
Well, when you do it in a workshop, it's pretty much open for anyone to say whatever they want, you know, and really it's designed to have more of a free-thinking discussion, more brainstorming about what this ordinance should be. And clearly the mayor had an idea of what it should be, but instead of having the pressure of having to take a vote that night and the limitations of having that first reading, a workshop gives us time to delve into it more, get our staff engaged, and I think just give us an opportunity to discuss it more fully.
Well, it seemed, you know, I think the consensus was it did need more work.
Yeah.
In watching the meeting, I think Council President Patton listened to the room.
She did.
And I think that was effective. What were some of the things that you saw, ideas that were brought up that should be considered?
Well, I know, and the mayor has mentioned this one, the 21 versus 18. The state statute provides that the person can be 18, they're an adult.
You're about the adult who can accompany minor.
Yes.
Right.
And the fact is that, you know, an 18-year-old is an adult, just like a 21-year-old, and it's not necessarily more responsible if you're 21. So that's definitely a concern. The chief kept talking about who he wants to protect with this ordinance. Not enforcement, he wanted to protect 10 and 12-year-olds. So why is it we're focused on 17 and under? Maybe we should change it to under 16, people that can't drive. So I think there's some concerns about that. There's concerns about what's going to happen if someone who is the adult says they're in charge of all these kids and they're just going to take their word for it. I mean, is that true? I mean, and what if you find a child out there and you ask them if they have permission? Are you going to then have to call their parent and find out? I mean, we're going to end up babysitting kids. I know that's not what the mayor wanted to do, but it is going to be babysitting children. Was
there any concern about it being citywide?
I didn't hear anything about that. You know, I know that the focus has been downtown, but I think it's really hard to just carve out one part of the city and make it applicable there. I think it needs to be something that can be, you know, used citywide. And I'm not saying I'm supporting the curfew, but I feel like carving out just downtown is not the best way to do it.
Mobile does that. Some other cities do that, but I can understand. And I think the mayor, when I've questioned him during the press conferences, that's been one of the things that he's brought up, that the boundaries would be difficult, would make it harder to figure out, are you on in this block or that block? What's downtown? What's the Cordova Park or mall area? How do you define it?
Right.
I can understand that. All right, another big issue that's come before the council this summer has been data centers. You've been a very outspoken critic of data centers. Talk a little bit about that issue.
Okay, I just don't think in the city limits, or in the county for that matter, we need to have a data center. Could be an AI data center. That's the main one we're talking about, is AI data centers. And I feel like what we did, the moratorium, gives us plenty of time, a year, to study it, make sure we get it right when we go to change the land development code, make sure we take into account private property rights, the Byrd-Harris Act, all of those things that could affect, our ability to enforce this. So, and 50 megawatts to me is so small compared to the 3,200 megawatt one they're putting in, I guess west of Savannah. Mm-hmm. So I feel like 50 megawatts covers just about everything. I don't think anyone's going to build one that's less than that, at this point.
Right now, that issue seems to be settled, although it's a national issue. It's an issue that it's going to be probably part of the governor's race. Byron Donalds has received some pretty good contributions from the AI companies, right. And I'm sure David Jolly will use that in his campaign against him. I think the other challenge in looking at it is where we go from here as far as how are we going to get the data to figure out what data centers are going to be permissible, because that's the part I keep seeing, Charles, it's missing, is that there's a group that quietly didn't want a moratorium, doesn't want a ban, but they haven't defined what a data center means to them.
Right. I think that's a challenge. I think that's why we've gone the moratorium route, to give ourselves time to look at all sides of it and see, is this truly a threat? I know that we're talking about water issues, environmental impacts, power grid, and some of these bigger data centers, they're closed loop systems. They don't have as many impacts, So the problem to me is that data centers don't produce a lot of jobs. They put a lot of strain on the resources. And so until they find a way to deal with that, I just don't think it's the right fit for us. Now, I'm not saying we don't need data centers somewhere. That's the hard part, is because I think most of us use AI to some extent now, so there's going to have to be data centers, and the question is where.
You also serve on the Tourist Development Council. Yesterday, they had a meeting. You got to chair the meeting. I watched it this morning. It is David Baer, who's been on the board for a while, former chair, has brought up that there's still problems with tourism partners getting paid. Fufu Fest, according to Mr. Baer, is still sitting from last year waiting to get paid, get reimbursed from invoices, and it's impacting them as far as people doing things this year. I heard just recently that the Night Moves, which has been a fairly successful concert, that they're not going to do it this year because of the funding issues, whether they can get paid or not. How do you see this issue?
It's very frustrating, and we even, the group that came yesterday to present to us, African American Heritage Society, they even had concerns about the documentation they had to submit every month to the clerk's office. And I have to do it with Keep Pensacola Beautiful. We get funding and we have to submit documents to the county, then they go to the clerk's office. Sometimes they delve deeper and have to get more information from us. We haven't had the issues with not getting paid, but a number of organizations have. And this is a fight that's going to end up, it's in the courts right now, I think, not necessarily with TDC money.
But with the nonprofits.
With the nonprofits.
Right.
And a lot of these are nonprofits that are getting TDC money. So it's all kind of connected, and the county commissioner and the clerk need to work it out. They're the ones that appropriate the money. TDC just recommends, they appropriate, and so they have to make sure. All these people sign contracts. We sign a contract, Keep Pensacola Beautiful, and when we sign that, we expect to get paid, and it's not happening, and that's frustrating.
It was amazing. You had Ray Palmer with Pensacola Sports get up there and said that he had 900 pages for 1 month's worth of reimbursement, yes. Which is, you're almost having to run a whole separate staff to deal with stuff where no one's found any fraud. That hasn't been an issue, right. Which makes it very, very difficult. We've got more on that on the blog. You can go to Rick's blog and check that story out. It's one that's still developing. We're coming up close to the break. Charles, I know you have been, you're a really unique position on the council in that you have served under 3 mayors in this strong mayor of government. What have you seen, the pluses and the minuses in strong mayor?
Well, it kind of parallels the superintendent discussion. Do you want a group of legislators to pick the executive leadership, or do you want someone to be elected? And the challenge to me is that no matter who gets in that position, that person, however they got elected, they now have incredible power in the city and a charter that gives them that power. The powers and duties are very empowering to the mayor, giving them the ability to do things that without the council really having a lot of input. And all he needs a few votes on council, and you can just set this agenda and go on about it. And so I feel like it's still a work in progress. The council and the mayor need to have good communication. That's not really happening very well right now. And I think that's the source of a lot of the issues. It was with Mayor Hayward, with Mayor Robinson, and it continues. We talk about communication a lot, and it's important, and we just need to have more of it.
Well, I think the council has done a better job of defining its role.
Yes.
Over the years, it was really the first 4 years, it was a lot of working out whose roles who, and how do you set the agenda for a council meeting, who gets to present stuff, all those things, staff, where the council could have staff or not. Right. All those things have been worked out, which I think are, it seems to be evolving properly. I mean, we're 16 years into this, so hopefully it has. Yeah. But it is an amazing, some of the things that have been accomplished have been huge. And I think for the most part, what I see on the council is that y'all are working better together now than past councils that we've had. And
I would agree with that. I know my first council I was on, it was not a lot of fun. We did not work well together.
Well, well, good. Well, Charles, thank you so much for coming on. I think it is. You can follow the City Council, cityofpensacola.com. Their meetings are televised online and replayed on YouTube. You can see how they're doing. I try to cover as much of it as I can. The mayor's press conferences are every Wednesday at 10 o'clock unless something comes up, but it is a great way to follow what's going on in city government. All these issues are important. This dictates the quality of life that we have, and we're very fortunate to have people like Charles and the other council members who give their time for this for not a whole lot of money. And spend a whole lot of their time doing this. So it's a really, it's not quite volunteer, but it's very close. We'll go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Allen.
I learned during my military service to train every day to fight and fight to win. If you've been injured in an accident, you already know one thing for sure. The insurance companies are going to fight you for every dollar you deserve. At Michelson Booth, we settle most of the cases we handle. But if the insurance companies choose to fight, well, we're okay with that too. If you've been injured in an accident, choose a law firm that's got the resources, training, and stomach for the fight. Michelson Booth. Don't be a victim twice.
It's baseball season. From heart-stopping plays to legendary victories, this is baseball at its finest. Grab your seat, bring your energy, and witness greatness live. Don't just watch it, feel it. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos are back, and you can watch Pensacola Blue Wahoos home games live on Fridays and Saturdays, only on Blab TV. Love the Blue Wahoos but can't watch? Get your tickets now.
My name is Bill Sadler. I'm the general manager with Empire Truck Sales here in Pensacola, Florida. I've been advertising with Blab TV for well over 20 years. Blab TV has been a huge success for the growth and success in our company. Blab reaches the local community. It's an advertising venue that really reaches our target audience and customers. It's not a week that goes by that we don't see somebody out in the community that says, hey, I saw your show on Blab TV, it was great. My name is Bill Sadler and I am Blab TV.
Gill Marine, your one-stop shop for all your boating needs. We offer a vast selection of parts, accessories, and electronics. Discover our range of used boats in every size, shape, and brand, all ready to get you on the water today. and we provide expert advice and top-notch customer service to ensure you have the best boating experience. We service all outboard, inboards, stern drives, jet drives, and personal watercraft. Our certified staff will get you back on the water. Visit Gill Marine at 3541 West Fairfield Drive, Pensacola.
Welcome back. I'm Rick Alston. This is Rick's Blog Live. Thank you for watching. This is a labor of love. I think great to work with Blab and their team to bring you the stories we were covering in the blog and in the newspaper so that you can really get to meet the newsmakers. One big newsmaker I've got with me right now, Melissa Pino. Melissa, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Rick.
You know, we actually became, really got to know each other during COVID more. Those 2-hour drives back to Gulf Breeze, we talked all the way back on what some of the issues were. You've been very active in the community. The big issue now that is definitely on the southwest part of the county is customary use, public use of the beaches at Perdido. Talk about why you got involved in this issue.
Well, and thank you for having me. What a nice way to spend the day after, Rick. And I appreciate you devoting some time to this because we've only got a little bit left to get to the testimonial. So hopefully with the primary in the rear view, we can get a few more of those. But I'm actually wearing an old vintage t-shirt. This is a throwback. It's an 8-year-old t-shirt. This was the first one we had printed up when we got a loose coalition of beach advocates together to start trying to get that beach pride back open out on Perdido Key. And so the first thing that we got accomplished was, we blocked an attempt to close Access 1, and then we pushed to get beach access that had already been purchased by the public down near the crab trap. It was sitting there waiting. You would have thought that would have been easy, but it wasn't. We finally did get that open and cut the ribbon. And then a member of our team, Michael McCormick, discovered language in the deeds in front of the Gulf Beach subdivision that had somehow fallen out of much of the chain of title. And we all realized, whoa, this was supposed to be perpetual access for the public from the conveyance from the federal government. And so little by little, we've been recovering and restoring what has always been public access on the Key until the unfortunate 2018
I think people will be
legislation.
surprised if they don't go, if you haven't been to Perdido Key, you know, over the last few years, I think you'll be surprised at how different it is than Pensacola Beach. In Pensacola Beach, you can walk the beach from Fort Pickens past Portofino to Navarre and not have any problems. But at Perdido, some condos have stretched out chains or do not trespass signs behind the beach, behind their buildings. And it's a whole different, another feel of Perdido versus what we have on Pensacola Beach.
Truly, and it's such a shame. And the irony is, it's really only 3 months out of the year during the high season that there's such contention down there. But while it's going on, it's really unfortunate. It's very bad. The climate is very hostile and toxic to day visitors, families who come, people who come to have access to the beach. And then they realize that, oh, we didn't rent in a Gulf front facing condo. We're in one across the street, or we're in the Grand Caribbean, or at Beach Access 3, for instance, we're across the street on one of these newer condo developments that are on River Road, and they're finding they don't have access. And it has only been 8 years since that started to happen. But we do, particularly at Beach Access 1, is very contentious, and they have crime scene tape and constant deputies, their uniform, badge, guns, and they are paid, they're off duty to enforce trespassing laws, and it's debatable. The legality of it is debatable, but I think the sheriff's office, for the most part, handles it very professionally. But not the office itself, but the deputies that are off duty. But it is still a very dicey and sad situation. when you'll be at the beach and you will see a deputy come tell families to take their blanket up off the dry sand and get down to the wet sand area.
Yeah, it's customary use is, I guess, the simplest way to say it is what has been the customary use of the beach on Perdido Key, the beaches there. There's a process going on for the county commission to show that it has been public, and it requires affidavits, testimony. Y'all had a big meeting at Hub Stacy's on the Key last Friday, the 14th. Had a really good turnout. Talk about the affidavits or the testimony. What are y'all looking for to help prove that the beach has a history of being used by the public?
I think that what's so cool about the testimonial process, and you're right, that what's that root word in customary use? It's custom, and you can really think about it more as historical. And that's all the commission has to do, is declare that there has indeed been historical public access out there, and they have to set that by ordinance and define the geographical parameters. And so what is so amazing is that your memories in this case become a legal instrument towards recovering the public access there. And what staff really needs is just some very basic information. Tell your stories, and if you will, just peg down about when did you go, where did you go, and we don't need latitude, longitude. Well, we used to hang out near the old reef or the Cutty Sark, or our favorite spot was to the west, just to the west of where the state park area is now. For some of the old timers that are filling out affidavits going back to the 40s and even earlier, they used to head down to the reef or the Cutty Sark area there around Beach Access 1. They'd get on their dune buggies and go all the way to what used to be the end of Florida there on the Key, and because there was no road. There was no road there. And so we have an information sheet that provides the very short list of things that are helpful, but your memories, and if you want to include them, photographs as well. They're not required, but if you really want to share them, it's a wonderful way to convey the sense of this wonderful public amenity that has always been that way until a short 8 years ago when the condo owners started driving towards privatization.
So there's a deadline that we've got.
28th.
28th.
28th of August. They have to be into the county at the 28th of August. Yes, and people, there are really two ways to go about it. The county has a portal for people that are, they like to use technology and are comfortable with it. So if you just Google Escambia Perdido Beach, you will, ask for a portal. If you have to use that search term, it will take you to that page. It will give you instructions, and then it has the fields for entering a little bit of information about yourself. What's your name? Where do you live? And something that's very important is that you don't have to currently live in Escambia County. You don't have to have ever lived in Escambia County. If you live in Timbuktu and you spent a glorious wide open week on that beach in May of 1999, that is still a valid testimonial. So you can go to the county's website, or we found that a lot of people weren't comfortable with that. So instead, we made a short page of instructions for people to either handwrite or to type, and then get them notarized. You can pick those forms up at Perdido Pack and Ship, which is down on Sorrento across from the Walmart there on the corner of Dog Track.
Okay.
Or you can email us. Can I give do I have time to give the email address?
Yeah, we'll add it to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first part is easy. It's Open Perdido Key Beach.
Okay.
Open Perdido Key Beach. Gets a little tricky from there because it's at protonemail.com. PROTON, protonemail.com. And everyone is like, why did you do that? And we say, because it's free. And we're just an ad hoc group of people trying to help with this.
You can see that on the screen. We'll be able to get it to help. It is, I think this is, to me, it's a no-brainer as far as the beaches should always be open. I can understand if there's a pool next to the condo and wanting to protect the property itself, but it's always been an issue. It's been an issue in Gulf Breeze with piers. It's been an issue in a lot of different, who owns the shoreline. And I think the shoreline is everybody's. But that could be a unique feel to it. So you've got a deadline. It's August 28th. You know, you're looking at an opportunity to be a part of the process. And what happens after this? What happens after all the testimony is sent in? What happens next?
Staff has a built-in review period of 90 days so that they can review everything that's being submitted. And then we're into the Christmas season and don't really expect that, you know, there's going to be anything of this really important legislative sort of thing going into Christmas. So we're expecting that January or February of next year, 2027, that it will come onto the agenda. And the commission will be able to vote really with a sense of confirmation that what we've been saying all along is that the public will show up. Of course, the concern has always been that if they pass this, the Gulfront condo owners might bring a lawsuit, which is unfortunate. But if they do, and if it gets anywhere, it might not even get anywhere because they'll all have to be on the same suit and they'll all have to hang together. But if it does go to court, you need people to testify that it's been public, and this has happened other places like the town of Reddington.
Right. There are other stories of this. We're coming up on the hard break, but this isn't a unique just to Perdido. It's happened. It's been an issue in Walton County for quite some time, but in other cities and other beaches are having the same issue. I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You know, I think that the people that are behind this that really care about the beach, there is no other agenda than the beach here. And it's, you know, the commissioners need this. I mean, gosh, when we look at the county commission, we're coming right up on the break, but the county commission, for the most part, for the majority, have been in favor of customary use. They need this evidence for them to go ahead and validate it with an ordinance. We're going to go ahead and break. Melissa, again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll be back after we pay a few bills. I'm Rick Alson, and this is Rick's Blog Live.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. Do you have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking? And I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
Take a breath and step into something green. At Pensacola Seed and Garden, both of our locations are open 7 days a week, ready when you are. We don't just sell plants, we grow many of them right here, with care you can see. And once you take one home, you'll find everything you need to help it thrive. Visiting from out of town? Discover unique, exotic plants you can bring home, often for less than ordering online. Pensacola Seed and Garden. Grow something beautiful.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
Nestled in the heart of Pensacola, Dorothy's is a one-of-a-kind, community-driven cocktail bar by Oasis, Florida, created to sustain vital HIV and STI care across the Florida Panhandle. Inspired by the Wizard of Oz, rooted in inclusion and dripping with character, Dorothy's is a welcoming space with award-winning Oz-inspired cocktails, food by Steel Pony Diner, and an unmatched atmosphere. Join us 7 days a week in downtown Pensacola, located directly across from Maritime Park and the Blue Wahoo Stadium.
Welcome back. I'm Rick Alson. This is Rick's Blog Live. Thank you for watching us. If you're watching this on YouTube, this show goes live every Friday in the afternoon, so you can first see it there. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. You'll help us a whole lot by doing that. We also have an audio version that's available on Apple Podcast and on Spotify, so you can just, if you want to listen to this while you're in the yard, you can do that too. But we want to connect with you as many ways as possible. August 18th election is over. It is the cruelest poll ever taken because there is no doubt about it. You know exactly how many friends you have and who told you the truth, whether they were going to vote for you or not. We had a little bit less turnout than we had hoped for. And to help us talk about it, we've got Supervisor of Elections, Robert Bender. Robert, thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it, Rick. We did better than we did in 24, sort of split the difference between 22 and 24 primary. So record-breaking for early vote. But again, our vote by mail numbers are down, which they're down across the state with having everybody to renew that. Again, you're also on the heels of 2020 because when you made a request for vote by mail in 2020, it was good for two election cycles. Right. So a lot of people in 22 got those vote by mails from 2020, but and then also split the election day numbers almost in half. We had 30,000 in 2022, 20,000 in 2024, and we were right there just above 25,000. So again, of course, we'd like to do better, but again, a little bit above the state average in terms of turnout, and about the best in the Panhandle. So.
Well, you look at, I was looking right before we came on, I was following the mayor's race and seeing how the precincts were working, and it was not down nearly as much. About 700 fewer votes were cast this year than 4 years ago in the primary for the mayor's race. About a 5%, 4.8% drop. So that, you could see when you have a lot of candidates that are really working hard, that generates interest, and even though the overall count was down, you had a lot of interest in that race. It is, when you look at, it may be too early, I know, but have you looked at the number of vote by mail ballots you sent out and how many returned? You have an idea what that percentage is?
So we're probably closer to 75% on that, which usually we do have a little bit higher percentage of returns. I think we sent a little over 23,000, and we're right around 15,000 that have been returned. So maybe a little less than 75%, but usually I think for the 24 general, again, sent out a little over 40,000, and I think we were right there north of 35, maybe 37 range. So again, a little bit higher percent of the return. Sometimes somebody maybe got their ballot and they only had that school referendum on there and didn't feel the need to send it back or something like that. But yeah, usually a little bit higher on the return side of vote by mail.
Well, and usually this is the year that you have the Florida cabinet. Those races are up, and they, in the past, have generated a lot of excitement. Of those races could be hotly contested, particularly for governor, and that can drive people to the poll. This year, it was. And it turned out the way everybody thought it would be, with Byron Donalds being the Republican nominee, David Jolly being the Democratic nominee. That didn't drive as many people to the poll. It's funny, you look at these type of years, it's the governor's race that makes a big difference. In the other 2 years from now will be the presidential race, and usually the sheriff's race is the one that generates a lot of excitement and gets people to the polls. Not so much the last few years, but that's definitely part of this. What do you see as far as the early voting worked well this time, Robert? Will we have as much time to early vote in the general?
So we'll have more time for early vote. We'll go from the mandatory 8 days to include those optional days on the front end. So we'll have 13 days of early voting. We'll also expand it 30 minutes on the back end. So we'll go from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, great.
Every one of those 13 days, we'll have the 10 sites. Same 10 sites will still be up. But talking about turnout a little bit, I think sometimes when it's an open seat, you see a little bit higher turnout. So for Escambia County, our highest percent turnouts, even in presidential years, Clinton's first term, Obama's first term.
Right.
So maybe seeing that the open mayor's race from 4 years ago drove out a few more people than it did this time, it might be in line. In terms of a gubernatorial, 8 years ago when we had an open governor's seat, we hit 61% turnout, where typically would be in the low 50s. And so, of course, we're expecting turnout to be a little bit lower than it is in a presidential. Some people think that the president actually impacts their daily lives more, or something like that. There's more excitement around a presidential than a gubernatorial. And in fact, I was even feeling at this time, I said, I just feel like there's something missing.
Right.
And there's not the excitement, there's not the energy in the air that you have with a presidential. And so I'm glad my staff was able to explain that to me on why I was feeling a little different. But hopefully, again, with an open gubernatorial, hopefully this is a great matchup between the two primary candidates and the others that are on the gubernatorial side, and that it drives that turnout to where we are more closer to that 61% that we were 8 years ago versus the low 50s that we're historically are for a gubernatorial race. So we'll also have a Senate race. We'll have congressional districts in the area, so lots to vote on. Just not school board and mayor, just like we said. It could be decided, and it was decided in the primary.
You were right. You were totally right. And so for the public too, if you're not registered to vote, the books will open back up where you can register to vote. You can change parties, but it doesn't really matter in the general because you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. But if you want to register to vote, this is the time to do it. We'll give you all the dates that you need to keep in mind when that book closes, when you can. The deadline for requesting vote by mail. If you've gotten a vote by mail now for the primary, you're automatically in for the general, right?
As long as you've asked to do all elections. Some people may only have requested the primary, and we'll do that. But if you have we'll call it all request, it'll be good through November, and so you'll get one when we send those out.
So when do you get to take a break?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, okay.
Thanksgiving. So right now we are finalizing the reports, and so we're today we're scanning the ballots from yesterday into Clear Ballot, which is our audit system, and then we'll perform that audit. In Escambia County, we'll do 100% of the precincts, 100% of the ballots, all the races. Compare that to the tabulation system. Again, 2024, 99.998% match.
Right.
Again, some of those just nuances that you see are the differences, and so we'll do that. We'll start designing the ballot for November now that we know who's going to be on it. Still waiting on Amendment 3 language to come out, which should be here by the end of the week, and so we'll design that ballot and get it ready. We'll start printing those and getting ready for vote by mail that are just going out. I think it's early September.
Oh gosh, right on top of us, Robert. I hope you'll stay with us.
Yes.
I like having Robert on the show because it's very important that we vote. Our democracy depends on voting. This is how we get to shape our government and shape our future as a community. So, Robert, thank you for coming on as often as you have. We'll do a lot of it towards the end of September and heading into November. Again, this is important for all of us. All the election results, they're on the blog, ricksblog.biz. Of course, Robert's site, escambiavotes.gov, has all the information, so you can check out how your candidates did if you haven't done so already. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Allen.
At A1 Automotive, we do it all. All kinds of repairs for all kinds of vehicles. We do AC repairs, we do suspensions, we do pre-purchase inspections. We'll diagnose your problem and get it fixed. Free brake inspection. We can provide financing for any work we do. Veteran-owned, military, and first responders discounts. A1 Automotive, 403 Beverly Parkway, Pensacola.
I'm Emily Echeverria. I'm the Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. In the past, Council on Aging has relied heavily on print and radio, but in the age of social media algorithms and smart devices, we know how highly prioritized and sought after video content has become. Our audience really responds to video content, and yours will too, especially the high quality of video that Blab produces. I'm Emily Echeverria, and I am Blab TV.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
Take a breath and step into something green. At Pensacola Seed and Garden, both of our locations are open 7 days a week, ready when you are. We don't just sell plants, we grow many of them right here with care you can see. And once you take one home, you'll find everything you need to help it thrive. Visiting from out of town? Discover unique exotic plants you can bring home, often for less than ordering online. Pensacola Seed and Garden. Grow something beautiful.
Welcome back. I'm Rick Alton. This is Rick's Blog Live. One thing that I've always done, and we have done in Weekly, is, put the spotlight on young leaders in our community because they really are critical to the growth and the future of where we go. I mean, you look at, for 20 years ago, we were always fighting over could we keep our talent. Now we're doing a much better job of it. One young man that I have followed since he was going with his dad into the courtroom wearing a bow tie and his own little briefcase is Cole Stevenson. Cole, thank you for joining me.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Recent graduate, University of the South, your IB program at Pensacola High School. How did IB prepare you for Swanee?
So, I mean, really, I heard like my freshman year of IB that all the seniors who graduate say college is easy after that. And I wouldn't say it made it easy. I think college is a lot more than just the classes and the classwork, but I definitely became a much stronger writer, and I had friends who were completely different majors from me, biology or history majors, and they'd be telling me about stuff they learned in their sophomore or junior year class that I learned my junior year of high school. So it was just super comprehensive. You kind of learn everything about everything pretty extensively. So.
Yeah, I remember one of the first times I interviewed you was you'd written a paper about Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
which was great. Of course, you were still late turning it in.
Yes.
I think you had finished it. But it's been fun to watch you grow up. You've been away, you've come back to work during the summer, but how much has Pensacola changed from when you graduated from high school to where we are right now?
I mean, so one of the first things I noticed is the traffic is, at 5 o'clock, it is thick. It's not Atlanta or something, but it is. You have to stay off Main Street.
Right,
for sure.
right.
I noticed, at night I used to be able to see the stars from my house, and now there's a lot of, not that it's an issue, it's a lot of people living here now, but it definitely does kind of fog up the sky a little bit. Definitely a lot of more developments. I've seen a lot of apartments in Gulf Breeze, and just sometimes I'll drive somewhere new and I didn't even realize they were building something there.
Right.
So, yeah.
How about the entertainment and what we have right now? How does downtown's changed?
Yeah, so I've definitely, now I'm 21, so there's a lot more I can do, but
you didn't do it before, right? So,
right.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. Mom and Dad don't watch. All right, go ahead.
Vinyl is definitely, I think they've gotten a further reach for artists. I know the Handlebar has been doing well, getting a lot of talent from just out of states. I think nightlife is pretty good. If you're on the further stretch towards Jackson Square, it's definitely, I have friends that are actually excited to go have fun downtown.
Oh, cool.
Instead of, this is what we kind of have to do. Yeah.
Is it a place that your friends from out of town like to come to?
I think Seville is definitely where I take everybody. It's just all the rooms, and
right.
I think Fast Eddie's is a pretty cool bar. So
cool. Yeah. Now you're working on the Jolly campaign here.
Yes,
you're one of the working for them. Talk about getting involved in politics. How have you liked it?
Yeah.
And what drew you to that?
Yeah, so I was a psychology major, political science minor, so people obviously are interesting to me. I've always found politics to be something I'm interested in. I'm not sure that that's what my career might be in, but marketing is kind of where I'm headed, I think. And there's, like my dad's told me, there's not much better marketing than selling one person. So you kind of get a lot of experience with that. It was Lumen May who I talked to that really got me involved, because he's been involved with Jolly, especially in this area, rallying support. And so he said, you know, what's Cole doing? And I was looking for stuff, and he said, how about working on a campaign, running an office? So making a lot of connections, just trying to get people to help spread the message.
And just the excitement of being in any race is exciting, particularly about a gubernatorial's race, is that they've got money, they've got a lot going on. So to be at the ground floor of something like that, and then get to know your city better.
Yeah, so I mean, with the canvassing, we got to go to different neighborhoods and just go door to door and talk to people. So I've been in a few areas I didn't even know that were, like the De Villiers area, there's a lot of new houses and stuff set up near there. It seemed like a lot of young people, and anyway, it's been kind of cool.
It's a good transition coming out of college.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm not sure yet if I'm staying here, so I've kind of, you know, I'm getting a feel for like what it's like to live here, really.
Oh, cool. Cool. Well, we're coming up to the break, but I wanted to have you on the show. It'll be fun to see this election cycle. We tried our first live broadcast, and it went fairly well. During the general, we'll be able to call you in on the show.
Yes, sir, definitely.
So that should be fun to do. And you know, I think it's fun to see you come back. It's fun to see that we have a town that's attractive, because, gosh, Cole, you know, it wasn't that long ago. Well, it's in my world it's long, not, you know, in your world it's, you know, not long at all. But you know, or it's, you know, 20 years ago, people would never think when they got out of college coming back here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that is a huge thing, and I think there's so much the community has to offer. But Cole, thank you for coming on.
You.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is fun to see the talent that we're keeping and the talent that wants to be here in Pensacola and Escambia County. We are a place that people want to come, and they want their friends to come here too. We're gonna go ahead and take a break. I'll try to wrap this show up. We're Rick's Blog Live, and I'm Rick Allen.
It's baseball season. From heart-stopping plays to legendary victories, this is baseball at its finest. Grab your seat, bring your energy, and witness greatness live. Don't just watch it, feel it. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos are back, and you can watch Pensacola Blue Wahoos home games live on Fridays and Saturdays, only on Blab TV. Love the Blue Wahoos but can't watch? Get your tickets now.
I learned during my military service to train every day to fight and fight to win. If you've been injured in an accident, you already know one thing for sure. The insurance companies are going to fight you for every dollar you deserve. At Michelson Booth, we settle most of the cases we handle. But if the insurance companies choose to fight, well, we're okay with that too. If you've been injured in an accident, choose a law firm that's got the resources, training, and stomach for the fight. Michelson Booth. Don't be a victim twice.
I'm Andrea Housen, practice coordinator for Derek Jones Facial Plastic Surgery. Dr. Derek Jones is amazing. He's double board certified, he's skilled, and he's been doing this show with Blab TV for almost 2 decades. If you're looking to grow your business, Blab TV has an amazing reach in this local viewing area. We always hear, we saw you on Blab Television. I'm Andrea Housen with Derek Jones Facial Plastic Surgery, and I am Blab TV.
Gilmarine, your one-stop shop for all your boating needs. We offer a vast selection of parts, accessories, and electronics. Discover our range of used boats in every size, shape, and brand, all ready to get you on the water today. And and we provide expert advice and top-notch customer service to ensure you have the best boating experience. We service all outboard, inboards, stern drives, jet drives, and personal watercraft. Our certified staff will get you back on the water. Visit Gill Marine at 3541 West Fairfield Drive, Pensacola.
Hi, I'm Kathy Holsworth, Artistic Director at Pensacola Little Theater in the Clark Family Cultural Center. Join me the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. for the Center Stage, where I get to talk to my friends and your neighbors about all things on PLT stages.
What a show. We covered a lot in a very short period of time. Of course, I'm Rick Alson. This is Rick's Blog Live. You can follow me just on all the different social media platforms. Of course, ricksblog.biz every day, where you want to go what the latest news is, nweekly.net. We don't color on the dog, and here on Blab with Rick's Blog Live. We try to reach you in as many ways as we possibly can. I think I went through all my questions today for who we had. Of course, Charles Baer, City Councilman. We're able to talk about curfew and data centers and a whole lot more. Mel Pino on the fight to keep Perdido Beach open to all of us. That's a huge story. Robert Bender giving us a breakdown of the primary, as well as what we can expect in the coming weeks. You still can register to vote for the general election. We'll keep you on top of that. Then we had Cole Stevenson, just a bright young man, who's back in town after graduating from college, and just to get his take on what he's seeing in the city. This is a segment that we've developed over the last few shows that I want to keep doing as much as we can. It is fun to do the show. It is great to work with the Blab team. They've done a great job in presenting, working with me and trying to make this presentable for you. But please stay with us, because I think that this is something that we could develop more and more. We're trying to make the news as timely as we can, so that you can get the latest on what's going on. Try to get the newsmakers in front of you so you get to see them, hear them, and make some decisions on your own about whatever they're talking about, or the projects that they're doing. Because I think the more you get to know these people, the better decisions you can make in your life on issues that are going on. And most of all, most importantly, get involved. We need you involved. Vote. It's very important. That has a huge factor. Watch what's going on in council meetings. Let your representatives know what you think on issues. It's very important to do that. The blog, we try to every morning to give you the hottest news story of the day, and we do our best at trying to get that in front of you. Please follow us. Thank you for watching. I'm Rick Alson, and this is Rick's Blog Live. We'll be back again next week.